We're live. Hello, everyone. My name is Mickey Wright, and I want to welcome you to Beauty Superstars Talk, which is your backstage pass to experts in beauty. I'm your host for today, and I'm a salon pricing strategist with BeautySuperstars.com, and I empower hairstylists to charge what they're worth. And I want to thank you so much for joining us today because today we are joined by the uber talented Dereq C, who is one of the newest North American brand ambassadors for Wella, which is the worldwide beauty and hair color leader. And he is their first Black brand ambassador, and we are going to have some fun getting to know him and all of the dimensional color that he does. And he's really an internet sensation. So stay tuned. And before we jump in, it's like we're actually just want to share a little bit about Beauty Superstars Talk. And each and every week, I have the privilege to interview Black beauty bosses who are doing amazing things in the beauty industry. And we give voice to their stories and celebrate their excellence while they drop nuggets to help all of us become better beauty pros and better entrepreneurs. So, more than a podcast, this is a movement to encourage Black excellence, entrepreneurship, to preserve our history, and to bring healing to our wonderful beauty industry. So I want to thank our sponsor, which is the Black Beauty Expo, which is the hottest show for Black creative entrepreneurs in the hair, fashion, photography, modeling, and makeup industry. And their next show is coming up Sunday, October 10th in Richmond, Virginia. And just 2 weeks after that, they'll be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on October 24th. So be sure to follow them on Black Beauty Expo on Instagram or at blackbeautyexpo.com. So you can keep up with the latest news and also any special vendor packages that they may have as well. In addition, I'm excited to announce that I'm actually the Global Education Director for the Black Beauty Expo. So if you are interested in educating, please reach out to me. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. And if you are coming back, we appreciate it. So we usually have a monthly series. This one is called Double Trouble. And all of my guests over this month are known for both their cutting and their coloring. And if you have been around this industry at all, you know that mastering either one of those is no small feat. So we're going to sit down and break down what it takes to win in both those areas. So my guest today, needless to say, excels masterfully with both areas and some more. So it's like we will be sharing lots of good stuff. And I want to share his bio and we can jump right into our conversation today. So, hello, Dereq. How you doing?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing well.
We're super excited to have you. And I'm just going to share a little bit about you and we will jump right in. So, Dereq C is hairstylist, hair cutter, hair colorist, image consultant, and educator. Can pretty much sum up who Dereq C is. Known for his innovative, fashion forward, and tastefully modern hairstyles, Dereq keeps it fresh and zesty while creating some of the hottest hair trends of today. Dereq has been a professional hairstylist for 16 years and does not plan on slowing down anytime soon. In fact, this is just the beginning. Whether jet setting between New York, Atlanta, or Los Angeles, Dereq can be seen creating his masterpieces behind the chair, enhancing the beauty of the everyday woman to make her feel and look like the celebrity that she is. Dereq has extensive experience working behind the scene on photo shoots, video sets, and New York Fashion Week. Dereq's hair is Dereq's passion, and it's obvious through his work. So, thank you so much for being here. It's like, yes, I'm a huge fan. Love your work, and
Thank you.
yeah, it's like I always like to find out like how did you actually even get started in the beauty industry?
Excuse me. Well, let me see. I was always interested in like hair. Like even when I was young,
Uh
my
huh.
great grandmother used to let me comb through her hair. I remember that. I had to be no more than like 4 or 5. She would let me climb up on the chair and comb her hair. And like when I was in grade school, I would take down the girls' ponytails on the playground and redo them. I was always in somebody's hair.
Okay.
So I think I was just destined to kind of like do hair. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just
Right.
was just, I guess, drawn to it. But I went to hair school in high school, and so because
Okay.
my high school had a Korean technology center, and so you could like take like nursing, barbering, cosmetology, welding. So it had that type of program. And so my mother let me go to hair school while I was in high school. So I came out of high school with a hair license. So I started
Okay.
fairly young.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that's excellent. So what was it like starting so young? Were you kind of the youngest person on the team when you started in the salon?
Uh, yeah, I was. I was, and I would number like maybe. You know what? I went to college after I got a hair license. So I went to Indiana
Okay.
State, and I got a bachelor's degree in communication. But all through college, I did hair. I didn't work in the salon. I worked out of my dorm room. So
Okay.
you can imagine how that went. But I had a full clientele. I was doing the administrators. I was doing the dean of the college. She was a
Okay.
black lady, right in my dorm room. So I'm sure it was illegal, but she let me do it. She didn't care. I mean, she cared, but she didn't care. She was like, "Look, just don't."
Right, right.
Because I was shut off to like the electricity sometimes. I can tell you some stories about that. But
Okay.
um, what was the question? I'm sorry, I done got sidetracked.
Just what it was like getting started young. Yeah.
That was it, pretty much. Like
Okay.
I did hair. I had a whole clientele in high school. I was doing teachers
Okay.
in high school. Like I was always pretty. I was always pretty kind of like out here with hair. Like
Right.
people
Right.
noticed my talent pretty quickly. I think
Uh-huh.
they noticed it more than I did. I just was just doing hair. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I wasn't thinking I was this and that, but I was doing administrators even in high school. I had teachers I was doing, so they would
Nice.
come to the hair class and get their hair done, and so that I was always in it.
Okay. Yeah. It sounds like you're definitely a natural.
Hmm.
Yeah. So were there any surprises when you went to beauty school as far as anything that you learned?
Were there any surprises?
Since you obviously already had a lot of talent.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I could like do um what do I want to call that? I could like do hair, but I didn't know the technical parts. So like
Uh-huh.
all the alopecia and things like that. Um, I wasn't aware of that type of stuff. So of course that was something new I had to learn.
Okay. Okay. And then how did you move into the color arena?
Um, I'm good. Yeah. How did I move to the color arena? Well, I wasn't always coloring hair like that. I mean, I could
Hmm.
do kind of what beauty school taught you, but
Okay.
it wasn't extensive like it is now. But
Hmm.
if you want to fast forward to me actually starting to really get into hair color,
Hmm.
um, that really kind of started. You know what I said when I moved to Atlanta like 3 years ago? I said
Okay.
to myself, I said, Atlanta doesn't need any more people that can silk press hair. They don't really need anybody else that can cut hair, short
Hmm.
little hair styles. They don't need anybody that can glue on a wig. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying? They don't need. They just didn't. I felt like, what's going to make you stand out in Atlanta, where there's a lot of, I guess, competition, if you
Right.
will. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, you know what? I think what's going to make me stand out is if I actually like specialize in color, not just color, luxury color, balayage, foliage, things that I know, I hate to say it, but my community were not privy to. Not
Uh-huh.
that people weren't doing it, but they weren't doing it, if that makes sense. There was
Yeah.
a select few.
Right.
I don't know if
Right.
that makes sense. This is my opinion, of course. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
that is where I said you're gonna stand out if you become a colorist. Because they don't
Okay.
need all that. They already have people like that can cut short hair, pixie cut. They don't need that. They need somebody that can do color, but do color on textured hair and people of color really well. That's where
Nice.
you're gonna stand out. And I was absolutely correct. I had
Okay.
studied though. I like did my research and all that. So that was where I really started to like become like, okay, I'm gonna look colorist. And for a long time, I was scared to call myself a colorist because I felt like, well, you're not a colorist just because you can bleach somebody's and put a rinse on. Like if you know
Mhm.
how to correct color, then you're considered a colorist. And I wasn't confident in that area just yet. And I'm
Okay.
still learning color. Don't get me wrong, color is ever changing, but
Right.
I've mastered kind of what I do. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
when I moved to Atlanta was when I really really delved into color. Now I did what I delved in it prior to. Like I knew how to, I started taking color classes before then. Some of my things went viral then before I moved to Atlanta. But when I got down here, the market was also bigger too here.
Okay.
So that also expanded my reach and things like that. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I love the fact that you kind of like took your time and decided where you want it to be and where you could make a difference in the market and
Mm-hmm.
where you could stand out in the market. Was that something that you just intuitively learned, or was that something like maybe through your education background or just? looking at other people who've made a mark? How did you?
Well, I worked at a salon called Changes in Indianapolis, and they were a
Mhm,
really high end African American salon, very professional, very by the book. First place I've ever went where they actually sat down and did a consultation on their client. So that was something like, oh wow,
uh-huh,
growing up in the salon and in the barbershop, I didn't get a consultation. It was what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like these women, they were like very classy, they had a very prestigious clientele from where I'm from Indiana, actually, Indianapolis, Indiana.
mhm,
Um, and so that was where I learned that, there's riches in the niches. Miss Brenda, she's an older lady. She used to work for South Sheen. She used
mhm,
to always tell me there's riches in the niches. So you really need to find a niche. That is
mhm,
where people will pay whatever you want.
mhm.
And that is where people will say, oh, he's a specialist, right? I want to go to a specialist. So that's kind of where that started to get cultivated.
Okay,
And so I
okay.
took that with me even when I moved to New York. I stood out in New York because I could cut hair really well. And
Mhm.
let me just make something clear. Hair cutting is my first love. I'm really a
Okay,
hair cutter first, right? I love to create
okay.
shape. I love to create shapes and geometrics and things like that in the hair.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And so color just enhances the haircut. So they go hand
Mhm.
in hand. But I'm really a hair cutter first. Hair
Okay,
color comes second. You
okay.
probably wouldn't tell that on my page, but I'm really a hair cutter first. I can
Well,
tell you that.
yeah, I actually, I guess I picked up on that because it's like I saw that you had used the term creating shape, which is what I used when I worked,
Right.
in the salon, because it's like it really is all about the shape. And it could be long, it could be short, but it has to have
Mm-hmm.
shape. And so, those were the
Right.
conversations I'd have with my clients. So, what does creating shape mean to you beyond, just the geometrics or what have you that you like to create?
Well, first and foremost, no great hairstyle is anything without a great cut. The cut is the
That's
foundation.
like,
You
yeah,
understand what I'm saying? So if the hair is not cut right, you're going to struggle,
yeah.
right? You're going to struggle having this color look a certain way. It's not going
Hmm.
to read the way you wanted it to look because it's not cut right.
Right,
No, I don't. Even if you don't color the hair, if the
right.
hairstyle is not cut right, you're going to struggle
Hmm.
because when your client gets sent home, she's not supposed to necessarily struggle with her hair, right? Now, don't get me wrong, she's not a hair stylist, so she'll never get it to look the way I can get it to look. But it should be fairly simple for her to kind of bump it and at least fall into something, right?
Hmm. Yep.
So, like I said, I'm big on foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Well, talk to us about foundation. I was asking you, like when you talk about creating shape, what that means to you,
I
but
was
tell us
leading into
about
that.
foundation. It's like
Yeah.
I like that word, and I like, that
Hmm.
it is
So
the
when I
basic
say
of
foundation,
everything. So, yeah, what do you mean by
exactly, you took the words right out of my mouth. You pretty much just said it. Foundation is the key to any great hairstyle.
it?
You
Uh-huh.
understand what I'm saying? Any great hair color is foundation. What I do behind the chair is really not hard. And people
Hmm.
are always shocked when I tell them that I'm not a lazy hairstylist. Don't get me wrong, I work very hard. But I also don't like I like working smarter and not harder, if that makes sense. So a lot of the things I do are really pretty much basic. Now I put my own
Hmm.
little swag on it. You know what I'm saying? I may place it a certain way where my eye sees it, but I'm really just doing hair. I'm not going to minimize it just to that. But if you really sat and watched me, you're gonna be like, this dude, he's not doing nothing but what do you call that? Weaving through the hair and maybe teasing a
Uh-huh.
little bit. You see,
Uh-huh.
now I have my own eye is where I see the color, but I
Hmm.
haven't reinvented the wheel. Does that make sense?
Right,
So
right.
when I say
Yeah.
foundation, you really need to know the color wheel. That's really where
Mm-hmm.
you make the money. It's not the technique is great too, but if you don't know the color wheel, your money's gonna be funny.
Okay.
People pay you more for what you know. You understand what I'm saying? Versus what you can necessarily do. They'll pay you for your education. And the fact that, like, once you know that foundation, even with haircutting, once you know the foundation, the sky's the limit. Does
Right.
that make sense? So,
Absolutely.
foundation is key to me. And I notice when I teach certain classes, when I'm teaching like color classes, I'll ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
What makes green?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say blue and purple.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, no. Or what makes orange?
Right,
And
right,
so the
right.
answers that they would yell out instantly let me know, okay, you guys don't know foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, you don't have a clue. All you want to know is how did I put it on the hair? But see, to me,
Right.
that's not important. That's not the most important thing. Because if she's paying you, she's expecting you to know and to have mastered what she's paying for, right? That means you need to know the color wheel. So I had to tell myself, okay, Dereq, it's cool to teach these techniques, but you're gonna have to teach these people foundation. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
teach a whole color theory class and make
Yes.
it and dumb it down for dummies, if you will. You know, those books for dummies, color for
Mm-hmm.
dummies. I'm not calling them dummies, but I'm saying,
Right. Right.
I had to kind of like, this is what color does, right? So that's what I mean when I say foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I mean, you're so spot on with everything as far as, especially, from an educator standpoint. And, you know, aside from the foundation, knowing the color wheel, because I know that's a huge thing that a lot of stylists do not know the color wheel off the
Right.
top of their head. So if we say that you're putting that foundation in, are there next level challenges that people have with color, with actually kind of grasping what, because to me it's such a concept that not everybody gets it at the same time and not everybody gets it in the same way. But
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the other things that come up when you're teaching?
Some of the other things that come up when I'm teaching. Give me an
Yeah.
example.
Well, color placement,
Mm.
understanding that. It's like understanding, like where, like now dimensional, a lot of dimensional color is in. And so you're using
Mm-hmm.
sometimes multiple color formulations. And so formulating, I know, can always be a challenging thing to kind of wrap your head around, like which colors, and this person is starting at a natural level, and then you've got to look at the levels that they want to travel. You've got to look at all of the different parts of the color process, moving through those reds if you're trying to get to some of the blondes.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's just so many things, so many pieces to the puzzle, in a sense.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Give me 1 second. Restart her drive for me, please.
Mhm.
Um. Okay. So I get what you're saying now. So
What are
I
some of the
definitely would
other
say,
challenges?
say it again. What'd you
What
say?
are some of the other challenges that the students that you're, having class, hairstylists that you have in class, are having?
Well, for one, of course, is the color placement. Because
Okay.
at the end of the day, color theory is super important, but color placement is also important too. And I learned when I started teaching these courses, people have no clue how to place the color and where to place the color and why you place the color here, and what's the story behind um, the color placement. You know what I'm saying? Why the color is reading the way it is read. That's because of placement. So I learned that, okay, that's another challenge for people. And don't get me wrong, these are all challenges for me. I had to get taught these things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm not saying that I just came out the womb knowing how to do this stuff. Yep.
Absolutely. That's why we have teachers. That's why we have training, and that's why education is so important.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was definitely one that comes up a lot. And what else? Color placement, color theory is the main one. I'm just like,
Yeah.
y'all, ooh, we're gonna
So
have to get this color theory under control.
any
Oh,
tricks
formulating too is
formulating?
another one that people struggle with. And don't get me wrong, I've been there too. I still have to kind of go back to my color wheel book and look at that too. That's
Mhm.
I'm not an expert. Don't get me wrong. I'm just good at what I can do. I'll do my own thing. But
Right.
formulation is still, we struggle with formulation and things like that. So all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hope you keep teaching.
I have to.
We have lots to learn. That's for
Right.
sure.
And it's never ending. Color. These companies are
Right.
coming out with these color lines every other week. This
Hmm.
new technology every other week that I'm having to learn. So that's one reason why I was drawn to color. Because I'm like,
Okay.
I was getting stagnant for a while. And I'm like, I'm getting bored. I'm tired of
Uh,
doing the same layer cut. I'm tired of my work starting to look the same. I'm like, I, I can't. So I was like, I need to delve more into color because that's a very challenging for me. I gravitated more towards haircutting. My mind just understood cutting better. Color
mhm,
took me, it's taken me a while to get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm still
mhm.
learning, but I love that color is ever changing. It's ever
Right.
changing. They're always coming out with something new. Technology is
Right.
always changing. So I love that about hair color. It challenges me. It presents a challenge for me, but I like it.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about some of the technology that's coming out, because I am seeing, different bits and pieces of different things that are like,
Hmm.
oh wow, that's interesting. What are you
Well, now
seeing?
you have. Go ahead.
What are you seeing
As far as technology,
in new products?
so you're seeing, let's see, my cellular water is starting to be put
Hmm.
in products now. Um, that
And
was not something that you really heard of in like hair products. That was more so for like skincare. Well, now it's being put into uh, hair care products, right? So that's
okay.
something new. Um, let's see, what other technologies? You have technologies now where is it the C3 complex? Am I saying that right?
I'm not
C3
even sure about that
complex.
one.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I have to study this stuff. Like even Wella is coming out with new product, and I have to get
Right.
special training on that. So
Yeah. And
let's
I've
see.
heard they're doing faster processing,
Mm,
like your basic retouches where you can get clients
yes,
in and out
which I
because the process
love.
time is, what is it?
I love it because
What is it
I
called?
there's one product. Well, this is not Wella. This is Kinroom. Before I was using Wella, they came out with a 10-minute color, permanent color, and then when I tell you, it is amazing. And I'm not saying the Wella's not. Of course, they're the bomb too. But that I'm giving homage to Kinroom. Whoever their chemists are really good too. You know what I'm saying? So they
Right.
have a 10-minute color um, that they just came out with. And I absolutely love it. Whatever technology is in there, it really works. And it keeps the hair
Okay.
healthy, shiny, and it really covers 100% gray in 10 minutes. So
Wow.
they're ahead of the mark too.
That's a game
So
changer.
I don't know what that technology is called though. I have to look that up.
Okay.
But it's new to me.
Yeah.
That you can
Yeah.
color 100% gray in 10 minutes, that's new.
Right.
It was new to me. Maybe I'm just new school. I don't know.
No,
Maybe I hadn't
I
been
think
having
it's
something
pretty
like
new.
that.
It's like we've been praying for the 45
And it
minutes
really
with it
works.
for a while.
It really works.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing actually.
Yeah. I mean, time is
And
money in our business.
exactly, exactly. And the
Hmm.
clients really want to get in and out as
They
well,
want to get
unless
in and
they're
out.
getting something, that is a total transformation.
Exactly.
But I know you're kind of fresh back from Wella Trend Vision. So tell us,
Hmm.
what is Wella Trend Vision? Yeah, kind of what makes it different, and how was it for you?
Well, first and foremost, it was amazing. I'm a behind the chair type of stylist. I'm not really a competitor. I'm not really I don't like a lot of attention low key. If you really knew me,
Okay,
I really kind of shy away from attention, right? It may not come across like that, but I really don't like a lot of attention on me. So that was definitely an experience that I was grateful that I got the experience because it took me out of my element. But I loved every second of it because hairstylists get each other, and
mhm,
I pull my inspiration from other hairstylists as well. Like I personally can't be in a suite. I'm not a suite
okay,
type of
mhm,
stylist. I have to be around people that do what I do because
right,
I don't feel like I know everything. So I bounce a lot of ideas off of them, and we watch and we learn, and we come ask questions from each other. And I'm sitting there learning how you glue this wig down, and it looks like it's coming from her scalp. That's interesting. I may not do it, but that's interesting to me because we
right,
get each other. Like my friends, I send them certain pictures, and they're like, "Dereq, that's ghetto." I'm like, I mean, it may be ghetto, but to me, I see the artistry in it.
right,
You
right,
get what I'm saying? I see the
yeah,
technical skill that took to even
right,
make it look like that. You
right,
get what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
now, now, Wella Trend Vision, it is a competition first and
Okay,
foremost. So my position when I went, I am a Wella brand ambassador, and I just started working with the company. So my little team had a 10-minute segment that we had to do to kind of showcase. They wanted to show off the brand ambassadors, introduce us to the
oh,
Wella family. So we weren't necessarily competing. We just had to do like a showcase, just kind of just show us some little work or whatever. So that was what we did. But it is a competition for students. They own OPI. Wella owns OPI. They own Clairol. They own Sebastian. They own GHD Irons.
wow,
Um, they own Nioxin.
hmm, right,
What else? What else? What else? What else? So all of those uh, segments were at the Trend Vision. And so,
oh,
like I said, it was a competition. So, like natural
hmm,
hair, creative color, creative cutting, nails. So, it was just a little competition. It was fun out. It was in Las Vegas.
uh-huh,
And what sets it apart is it's Wella's own like hair show. So, you have like behind the chair hair show. You have Cosmo Pop. They put on a big show. So,
okay,
Wella puts on a big show of their own.
Nice.
And this year was shrunk down a lot because of COVID-19. But normally Carol, the director, she told me it's about 25 to 3,000 people, 2,500 to
Wow.
3,000 people that comes to this event. But because of COVID, we had to kind of shrink that down a lot. But it was a production. I ain't never
Right.
been in nothing like that. I go to them, I see them, but I ain't never done nothing like that. So that was
Okay.
definitely fun.
Yeah, I saw you working it from the stage up there.
I
And
was working it, baby. And I wasn't even nervous. I was shocked.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think one of the models that you had was not an African American model, at least one. And so, it's like I'm assuming your experience, goes for most textures. And I know that you're focused on, textured hair and African American women in particular. But what are some of the things that are differences, that we need to be aware of, and even color companies, may need to be aware of as far as
Mhm.
how we color hair?
Let's see. Well, at the end of the day, hair is hair,
Hmm.
and when I teach, I always teach on texture. I don't teach on skin color, and
Hmm.
I teach where I'll say, well, you, I mean, you can use this iron on cotton, and it may straighten the cotton, but you can't use the same iron on silk. It will melt the silk. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But you may be able to turn that iron up when it comes to cotton.
Hmm.
So it doesn't really matter what the skin color is. What matters is what texture is sitting in your chair. And
Hmm.
I think that these companies, um, hi, these companies that hold on, let me let them walk past because you said we can kind of break, you can kind of cut it right.
Okay.
Let me let them walk away. 'Cause I'm still at work,
Okay. Yep.
so they got clients coming in and out. So I'll answer in a hot second.
It keeps it real.
Keeps it real, yeah. But but one thing, or well, a few things the companies I feel like are going to have to address and going to have to keep working on is visibility, or what's another word for visibility?
Representation.
Representation. And I
Okay.
made that very clear when I signed on with Wella, and I told them, I'm big on representation. I don't want to
Mhm.
be just the black stylist that you kind of show off like a little Barbie doll. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because when you look at my resume and you look at my counterpart's resume, if you didn't know my skin color, you would not be able to tell us apart. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Right.
My credentials are just as high, if not higher, than the next, right? And it's not a competition thing here, but like you need to treat me the same way, right?
Mhm.
I need to have the same benefits. I need to have the same perks. I need to be treated the same, and that means across the board, right?
Mhm.
And I don't want to be pigeonholed into being the black hairstylist that only
Mhm.
does black hair. I'm a hairstylist, right? Any
Right.
person that sits in my chair, I can service them. So that was one major thing that I wanted to hone in, and I think that companies need to keep working on that. You understand? Now I will give props to Wella. You can clearly tell that they really do care and they are trying to make a change.
Mhm.
What you don't know, you don't know, right?
Right. Right.
So I don't mind, going in and kind of helping them and helping other people recognize, okay, yeah, that may be a word that you probably hear, but I don't know if I would recommend you saying that because that it may have a negative connotation in my community. Like the word kinky. We'll use that as an
Mhm.
example. And nappy,
Mhm.
right? They
Right.
really are kind of kinky's not so much icky, but it can be icky if used in the wrong way, right?
Right.
In our
Right.
community. Because a
Right.
lot of times those words are used to degrade someone. When you say
Right.
somebody's hair is nappy, that's really not a compliment. That's
Right.
degrading. Anytime you use the word nappy, you really are using it in a negative connotation, right? You're not usually saying that to uplift somebody, right? And so, some of these advertisements, I'm like, okay, you may use the word kinky, which is not necessarily bad, but there's probably a
Mhm.
better word to use, maybe excessively curly
Mhm.
instead of
Yeah.
kinky. Because in our community, sometimes that word is thrown around and is used to, like I said, degrade someone
Right.
and make somebody feel less than because of the texture of their hair.
Mhm.
You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? So, like I said, what you don't know is what you don't know. You're not in
Right.
my community. So you probably think it's okay. We could just say kinky curly. And I'm like, yeah, but how about we just take the kinky part out and just say excessively curly? That's
Mm,
where I come into play, I notice. But I don't
right.
mind it. You understand
Hmm.
what I'm saying? I don't mind it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and like you say, like you don't know what you don't know, so it's like you have to have someone who does know and knows firsthand. You know what I mean? And like you
Exactly.
say, has the credentials to go along with the knowledge. So it's like you kind of
Right.
got, if I can use the word, the street cred as well as the the credentials,
Right.
to balance it out as an artist, as an entrepreneur, as a hairstylist. So I love that. And with you coming on board as the first Black or African American Wella ambassador, which is really kind of unbelievable in 2021 that this is the first. I know,
Everybody got to do it, I guess.
yeah, but I know, quite a few artists that work with Wella and have worked with Wella through the years. And I think, from everything that I've seen, it's like they are doing a good job to create more inclusivity and more diversity
Right.
in terms of what
Mhm.
they're doing. So I applaud them. But with you coming on board, like, first of all, like, what is a brand ambassador? So let us know about that. And then what does that actually entail? What do you do as a brand ambassador?
Well, I actually had to get clarity on that myself
Okay.
because I was like, okay, so what? Let me not give you a list of things they want you to do. But to me, it came across like, well, we want to use you as really kind of our marketing tool and to promote a lot of our brands and,
Uh-huh.
um, any new product that's coming out. We want to use you and your platform, right? We want you to
Okay.
create the looks. We want you to just be the artist that you are. But we're
Mm.
going to use, this is what my boss told me. And I was like, I don't really understand. Because to me, I feel like I'm just doing a lot of PR, marketing, which is fine. I went to school for marketing. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, this is perfect. But she was like, no, 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 darling. No, no. She was like, and I was like, where am I placed in this company? Like, I mean, am I down here? So she was like, look, let me make this very clear to you. This is this past weekend. She said, picture a pyramid here, right? This is a Wella pyramid. She said,
Okay.
brand ambassadors are at the tip top of the pyramid. Because I'm
Mm.
thinking educators are going to be at the top, then maybe some brand ambassadors, and maybe whatever, whatever.
Hmm.
Well, she said, no, you're at the top of the food chain. So we
Mm.
come to you guys for all the new looks, all the new trends coming out. You guys set the trends for us. So I was
Nice.
like, okay. Now you also, of course, promote. We send you out for training, and you promote the
Right.
new products that come out, which ambassadors what they do. But you guys pretty much are superstars of the brand. That's what she told me. I was like, oh wow. I didn't know that. I'm just like, oh, okay. People don't
Yeah.
usually get stuff like that, so we don't
Right.
know. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
hate to keep it real like that. If I'm keeping it too real, let me know. But I don't. We've never really gotten positions like that, like our counterparts. So I'm just like, okay,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
I guess I am a little superstar up in here.
All
I
right.
deserve it. You know what I'm saying? I certainly worked hard for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that, it's like that you do get the opportunity to, like you say, set the trends and really be that voice in a sense,
Right.
to help bridge and help make things better. And so are there different, I don't know, products or techniques or things beyond representation, beyond, like, because I'm hoping we'll see more, more models, that are of color, more, just they have a good amount of educators, but there's more opportunity, I guess you could say, for the educators, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know from Wella per se, but it's like I know some companies, it's like I've spoken to, they've been like, it's like, wow, like we had since, George Floyd and the whole, racial tension
Right.
stuff that erupted in the world and then, quickly spilled into the beauty industry. Um, it's like, oh, we had some training. We had all of our Black African American educators to do it. And it was phenomenal. And it was like, they don't even know the level of talent that they already have in their community. They were proud to say that it's like they're already on our team, but it's like you don't even know the level that they can participate with. And so do you
Mm-hmm.
being able to create more opportunities for, just a more inclusive atmosphere?
Mm-hmm. So you're asking me.
With Wella and
So,
with your position, does it help other educators who
oh,
may be in the in that triangle?
um, well, I will say I just started with Wella in June, so I haven't been with them long, right?
Right.
Now the process did move pretty quick, but I haven't been with them super long. But one thing I'll say personally is that I recognize the position that this has for me, right? Not only am I representing myself, I'm also representing pretty much all black hairstylists that
Right.
has never gotten opportunities like that. So it's not a small um, gesture, if you will. You get what I'm saying? It's,
Right.
it's actually a pretty big deal. Now, my counterparts may not necessarily understand it from that perspective, but me and you, we would totally understand why I say what I say.
Hmm.
I'm not. It's not just me. I'm standing
Right.
on 10,000 are behind me, right?
Right. Right.
It really is like that. And I hate this, like you said, in 2021, that's really kind of not a good thing, but that's where we are. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Um, so I will do my best, of course, to make sure we are much more inclusive. I will make sure that I stand up and say if something's not right or something like, like I was saying earlier about the verbiage, that's not
Mhm.
appropriate. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
may not understand it, but let me tell you why. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Um, I'll do my part. And
Mhm. Right.
of course, if there are any positions that open up, I'm going to definitely plug us in, you
Right.
know. So, I know all the top notch stylists, that you need to be paying attention to.
Right.
That
Right.
you clearly are looking over, not just Wella, but in general, that
Right.
these
Right.
companies are clearly looking over. And you can't
Mhm.
tell me, well, we just can't find the talent. But I'm like, you're not looking.
Exactly.
You're not looking. You found
Uh-oh. I can't hear you.
your browser last minute to you. Make sure no other apps are using your account.
I can hear you if you can hear me. I can't see you though.
I know. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Still can't see you. Oh,
There you
there you
go.
are.
There you go. I had an incoming call. I had to cancel the call.
Oh, okay. Okay. You're
Sorry about
reminding
that.
me.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, I'll do my part as much as I can. I do want to bring the next people behind me up. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely that type of person. So I mean, I don't have any control over the company, but
Right.
I will
Right.
try my best, to put my two
Mhm.
cents in. I'm not afraid to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, well, big congratulations. It definitely is a big deal, and it's like we're excited for you and the opportunities, that it will allow and open for you, and hopefully for others to come. That there will be
right.
more, and
Thank
so
you.
yeah, I think it's super awesome. And how did they find you? Any ideas as far as how did Derek get to be the chosen one, if you will?
Right. Well, now don't get me wrong. George Floyd had a lot to do with sparking those companies' interest in African American affairs, if you will.
Mhm.
So I did a roundtable with them. They
Okay.
had reached out to me once the George Floyd thing happened. I thought that's just randomly found me or something. I don't know. But they reached out to me and asked, hey, we would like to do a roundtable with you just to get so you can give us some feedback on what you think we could possibly do to kind of do our part. And so I did the
Mhm.
roundtable with a few of my other friends, hairstylist friends, and I guess they must have liked what I was saying in the meeting. I thought
Mhm.
I was keeping it too real, but apparently that's what they like.
Okay.
And I guess they must have kept me in mind. And so, of course, they had a list of people that they wanted to consider
Mhm.
becoming a brand ambassador. But I guess they picked me. Well, my boss did tell me, we were really attracted to that roundtable and the things you had to say. For one, not only
Mhm.
that, your work is phenomenal. Phenomenal. You represent us. We feel like you would represent us well. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
your technical ability and your knowledge. So all those things. Um, of course, played a role as to why and how I
Yeah.
got started with the company. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Well,
know,
that's
yeah, of
awesome.
course, it had to make sense for both of us, you know. But like I told him,
Absolutely.
I said, you know, I don't necessarily have to have a brand behind me for me. I already have a strong brand. So if this is
Right.
going to benefit me, it needs to benefit me, and it needs to be mutually beneficial, not just for you guys. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no problem.
I'm definitely at work. But like you said, it does keep it more organic. People get it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like I just did an interview with Lawrence Davis, and he was on set. You know,
Hmm.
he did the hair for the Aretha Franklin
Oh
biopic.
yeah.
Yeah, so he was
Hmm.
on set, so we had set stuff going on. But
Hmm.
it all worked out well. But yeah, so if someone is watching and they want to become a colorist, you know, they do have some, you know, maybe they've dabbled with it, maybe they haven't even dabbled with it. It's like, what would you suggest to them?
Well, first of all, learn foundation. Do
Okay.
not skip around with foundation. You need to know, and I mean the smallest of the smallest. Learn that because once you start really doing it, you're going to reference foundation all the time,
Right.
especially with hair color. So it's best not to skip that. So that's really the main thing I would say if you want to start actually like coloring hair. Study the book. Take your Milady hair book out or Pivot Point, whatever you went to hair school, Aveda, whatever that was taught. Right. Take that book out and go back and read through the book.
Mhm.
Study the chapters in color because that's where it all starts. You know. Now,
Mhm.
once you learn foundation, take your mannequin out. Start practicing on your mannequins. Don't mannequins will change your life. I
Okay.
still practice on mannequins
Uh-huh.
because these people are paying clients that come to
Right.
me, and it's not cheap getting your hair done by me, right?
Right.
But they're not people that you practice on when they're paying you, right? So you need to take your mannequin out and you need to practice those techniques until you're comfortable. You know, you have to,
Mhm.
and you also need to take classes. Hair school is only required to teach you what the state requires, right?
Right.
They're not required to teach you the latest balayage technique. That's not their requirement.
Uh-huh.
You understand? So if you want to
Right.
learn Derek's technique, you're going to take class with Derek. Sorry, you're
Right.
going to have to pay, right? And you're going to have to pay what Derek's going to charge you. Because what Derek's going to teach you is you're going to have that forever. Nobody can ever take that away from you, no matter where you go, right?
Right.
So take classes, learn foundation, take your mannequins out, practice on your mannequins, practice on models that's not paying you, right? Get your little
Mhm.
girlfriend to live around the corner, little girl around the way, get her,
Right.
right? I used to do that all the time.
Mhm.
You know, growing up in my neighborhood, I would take this when I was in hair school. I would just do all the girls' hair for free.
Right.
But look at what it did for me. Not only that, it now that this new generation has social media, they
Mhm.
don't have to know that they didn't pay you. Now you got content,
Right.
and people love behind the scenes. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So use all that stuff to your advantage, and then once you get confident enough, then you can start, doing what you do, becoming so and so the colorist.
Okay.
But never feel like you have made it. I never feel like you made it. Because once you feel like that, you kind of stifle yourself, I feel like.
Mhm.
So that would
Yeah.
be my best advice. Hopefully
Yeah.
that was good enough.
Wonderful. Yep, absolutely. Because it definitely all does start with the basics. And earlier you mentioned consultations. So
Hmm.
talk to us about kind of the importance of a consultation and maybe, you know, like what it should include or what it should look like because you shared kind of your only experience with it earlier in your career was, you know, what do you
Right.
have today?
I've never had a consultation. Let me just make
Okay.
that clear. I've never had a barber or somebody consult with me about my hair. Not the way they should have. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But no, consultations are extremely important. I do consultations on almost every client, especially clients that are getting a chemical service, whether that be relaxer, whether that be
Mhm.
color, with any chemical, whether it be an amino acid treatment. You understand? I do consultations on everybody because
Mhm.
consultations to me set the foundation to first of all the client relationship. Because even before you perform the service, if you do a good consultation, the trust is already there. You didn't have
Mhm.
to touch their hair. Just for
Right.
just the fact that you sat down and pulled up a chair and looked them face to face, and we talked about your hair. I don't know how many times a woman have told me nobody's ever talked to me about my hair.
Mhm.
So even before I even touched their hair, I've already built the confidence. I've already built that trust and like factor, right? That professionalism that is unfortunately missing now, it seems like, in our industry.
Mm,
We are in charge of bringing that back. And I think the main
right.
thing that could potentially bring it back is consultations. I know it sounds minute, but that's a big thing.
Huge.
You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? The fact that you even care enough to talk to me about my hair, not
Right.
just about the money. I don't mind paying you. I'm on your Instagram. I think you have the skill. But what's going to blow me away is my client experience, the experience that I have in here. And it starts with the consultation. So I ask questions like, when was the last time you had your hair professionally cut or trimmed? Because nowadays you have YouTube and people are doing these things on themselves. So now I had to learn. You need to ask them when's the last time they had their hair professionally cut and trimmed, not you doing it at home. Because they'll think, oh, I just did it. No, no, no. When's the last time you had it professionally cut or trimmed? Right?
Right.
I ask the questions like, do you have any breakage? Or do you have any weak areas in your hair? Now, this is before I even touch the person's hair. I'm just
Right.
sitting down talking to them. They tell you more about their hair than you can. They
Yeah.
live with their hair every day. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. See, it's already building that connection. I'll say, describe your personality, right?
Hmm.
And every time I ask that, they always perk up in their chair like, oh, I never had nobody ask me about my personality. It's a simple question, but it's a big deal,
Right.
right? Because that color may look. I chose that color on her because of maybe her personality, her skin complexion. Well,
Right.
she's very outgoing, so she
Right.
don't mind people walking up to her and asking her questions about her hair. Well, if you're kind of quiet and you're kind of reserved, that may bother you because if I
Hmm.
put this color right in the front, it's going to draw a lot of attention, right?
Right.
People are going to naturally be curious. Well, you may not be a people person like that.
Hmm.
So when I say, well, describe your personality, that's why I do that. You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? Because I say, okay, yes, it's a beautiful color. It's gorgeous, but I wouldn't recommend that for you,
Right.
right? Because you don't really like a lot of attention. So I may add more darkness around here, and I may go through and maybe add a few pieces throughout here to make it a little bit more subtle and not so screaming at you. Because screaming hair draws a lot of attention. So then I'll ask, what's your personal style? Would you say you're more edgy? Would you say you're more classy? Would you say you're more classic? Would you say you're more modern? Or would you say you're more laid back? You kind of like
Mhm.
sweats. That determines, okay, you're showing me this picture, but this is high maintenance.
Right.
You ain't a high maintenance chick like that. It's cute, but that
Right.
ain't you. You got
Right.
5, 6 kids running around here. You got little newborns. You don't have time to deal with that. You
Exactly.
understand what? Because this color you want is upkeep, right? Now, if it's you're a little college student, and you got time to sit in the mirror every day because you ain't got nothing to do. Okay, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
if that may not be your circumstance. So I don't know if I would recommend that for you. See, this is why consultations are important. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying? Because it can go either really right or really wrong. And I've had
Right.
enough go really wrong, right? And I had to learn in my career, you really need to sit down and talk to these people. That is why Brenda at Changes in Them made you sit down and taught you how to do consultations.
Right.
Because now once I do the consultation, it don't matter what the price I quote to them. They are really ready and willing to pay it.
Hmm. Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So the experience, because people nowadays, a lot of people can glue your wig on, right? A lot of people can sew you some hair in. They ain't even got to be licensed. But what they don't do is they don't take the time out to get to know who you are. They
Right.
don't give you an experience, and people are coming and paying for an experience now because to me, in my opinion, this profession has been watered down a lot,
Hmm.
unfortunately, and a lot of that has to do with experience. Sorry about the noise in the back, but it's the experience I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully that made sense.
Completely. Like 200%. Yeah. Like the things that are definitely missing from the
Yeah,
equation.
and I'm
Yeah.
just trying to keep it real. It's not. I'm not trying to stump on nobody, but I'm just trying to keep it real, keep it 100 with people.
Yeah. 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 It's like I've actually introduced a course that's called the Luxury Hairstylist Blueprint, where we help people with elevating their level of service as well as raising their prices.
Right.
And it's really, like you say, all about creating that experience. And one of the things I guess that I've seen on social media lately, I go to some of the groups and stuff on Facebook, are, people are getting these total transformations. It's like they use the black box color, their hair is dark, it's not in that great a condition.
Lord
And
have mercy. I know what you're talking about.
the client, they've done a consultation and just like, told them it's like, okay, it won't, you're not going to leave out here platinum tomorrow. But they're still upset in the process because it's like they don't look the way that they thought they were going to look. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that clients really understand the process, even though we're explaining it that way. And you can tell me what your thoughts are, but it's like if someone wants that big of a transformation and it is going to be a process, for me, it's like I would want them to have a commitment to me and to the process
Yep.
before we even start with the color part. It's like we
Mm-hmm.
need to see you a couple times to make sure that this is the direction that you really want to go and that you're able to get back in here on a regular basis. Because if
Mm-hmm.
not,
Yep.
it's just going to be, and like you say, creating that relationship so that they really are like, you're the expert, you're the person I want to do it, you're the,
Mm-hmm.
everything is already like solidified before we even
Right.
start. Yeah. So what are your thoughts with like, someone who comes in and says, it's like, okay, I'm dark now and I saw this great blonde that you did and that's what I want. And I have some color. I was, on the shutdown and I did my own and this box and all that kind of stuff. So what are your thoughts with that particular client?
Well, you would love my consultations because I have my owner. He sits right over here. He cracks up at me when I have those consultations with my client because I'm very real. And I tell him in a heartbeat, nope, you're not gonna be number red or orange. It's that. Oh
Right.
yeah. Or I tell him, nope, you can't get it at all.
Yep.
He cracks up. He's like, girl, you really need to record your consultations because I'm very big on reality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a musician. You
Uh-huh.
understand what I'm saying? I don't create things that are not there.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? And I only really do certain things. So
Right, right.
if your hair's not in the condition, or you've done previous box dye, whatever, box dye, or it's just damaged, I don't even have to touch her. I can look at it and tell, nope,
Right.
you're not even. I'll still talk to you, but I already know you're not a candidate.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
but I may lead them in a different direction. I say, well, you won't be able to get this, but you can get that. You can get a semi-permanent. Let's do
Right.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if you dyed your hair black, you will never be platinum unless you cut the black out your hair. I'm
Okay.
very real like that. And they scared when I say cut. And I'm serious when I say that. If you want to be platinum, you have to cut that out. I'm not taking your hair through stages. We're not doing starting here. I'm not doing any of that. If you want to
Okay.
be this, you have to be this.
Right.
And I tell them, well, she came in and she was virgin. The picture that she showed me, you're showing
Right.
me. I say, oh no, she was virgin. She don't
Mm-hmm.
have what you have.
Right.
I'm very real. So
That's
you can't. I'll
perfect.
be like, you can't have that. Like the one I had today. Love her to death, sweet as she can be. I told her. Apparently, she put a little rinse in her hair. I told her even before she took the picture out. I said, "Don't show me nothing like." She started laughing because she's my regular client, so she already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I said, "Don't show me nothing like." Baby,
Okay.
she looked at the picture. Okay, well, let me show you this one. I said, "Let me see." She put it up. You might be able to get that, but it probably still won't be that. You understand what
Right.
I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. I know if I can do it.
Right.
But we have to set these people's expectations because people's expectations with color, especially, is super high because
Exactly.
of social media. So they
Right.
think they can come in and just have whatever they want, and that's just not how it works with colors. But with me, so I
Right.
bring their expectations way down. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'll tell them this is what I was always taught. What's it called? Shoot. Always under promise, but try to over deliver. Don't
Mm-hmm.
ever over promise something. I had to learn that the hard way. I don't get pricing over the phone. I don't get
Uh-huh.
pricing over the computer. You need to come in here. I need to see your hair. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? You, I may have charged. Y'all probably got similar style or whatever, similar X, Y, and Z. But I probably did charge you extra $200-$300 because of your length, your thickness. I
Right.
don't know what your hair is like online. Nope, you got to come in.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Those things say it's a starting price and it goes up from there, right?
Right.
So, like I said, you'll love my consultations because I'm very real.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
But you know what? I learned though, people appreciate that though. It may come across as brash or it may come across as too forward sometimes. But you know what? At the end of the service, if they didn't get it done or after the consultation, they usually always say, "You know what, Dereq? I really appreciate you telling
Right.
me that. I really do. Even though I wanted what I wanted, I appreciate you telling me no."
Right.
Because what it translates to them is that I'm not just doing this for the money. I actually care about your hair.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's racist.
hopefully
Yep.
we can keep that level of ethical. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Trying to keep it, trying to bring it back because it's like we definitely,
we're losing it. We really are.
yeah. And that area of consultation, like you said, is so important to like even just starting the relationship, and we just brush past it. It's like, oh, yep, I did it, and they didn't do it.
Hmm.
They don't know much more about the client than they did when they walked in when they
No.
see. Yeah, really, really cool and really, really critical. So thank you for sharing that in your process. And we can see why you're where you are now because it's all those, like you say, foundation pieces are what builds it up.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So can we switch gears and just talk a little bit about social media? There's probably some
Sure.
stylists watching who want to grow their following or grow their business. Or what are your thoughts? What are your perspectives and tips on social media?
Let's see. Well, I've been on social media now for about 10 years since it really kind of dropped. It kind of dropped in college when I was in school. Um,
Okay.
so I'm not like new to it per se. But I do think that social media is an extremely strong tool, and it still is to this day. So
Mhm.
I think you definitely need to get on the train of social media uh, if you want to capitalize or start um, in the business, if you will. I think it's a very strong tool. Um, I use it. Almost all of my clients come from social media because Atlanta
Mhm.
is a hub, if you will, for like
Mhm.
everybody got family down here, got cousins, got friends, sorority sisters. So people come down here constantly. And so,
Okay.
if they're searching for hairstylists or people that live here, Atlanta's a melting pot and it's
Mhm.
constantly ever growing. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
the more you show up, the more results you tend to have, right? And whatever you post is what you're typically going to bring in. Not only that, your clients are going to be a reflection of you. If you
Mhm.
sit in this salon and look at each one of the stylists that work in here, all of our clients are pretty much like us. They look
Mhm.
like us as far as styling, the way we dress. Their
Right.
personalities are kind of like ours. Not everybody, you know.
Mhm.
Their verbiage is kind of like ours. The way they carry themselves is kind of like how we do. Each one of us have our own little hub of clients.
Right.
And so, like I said, whatever you post or promote is what's going to typically come in. So if you want to color hair, or if you want to do fun color, like fashion colors, if you will, blue, green,
Mhm.
red, purple, pink, post that, right?
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. Niche yourself out. Because I'm telling you what I know. People like to go to people that specialize in things, right? That's when there's no competition.
Right. Right.
That's what I had to learn. I don't. I've never been the type to look at people as for my competition. I've always been in my own lane,
Yeah.
So I just kind of do me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Um, but yeah, social media definitely is a strong tool, and if you use it correctly, it can definitely uh, benefit you.
Mhm.
Especially this new generation of hairstylists. Y'all really got it set up. Y'all got it
Right.
made. Y'all coming out already asking $200 for a sew in. We
Right.
weren't getting $200 back. Nah. If you got $200, you really made $200 in a day. You
Okay.
understand what I'm saying? I'm telling you what I know.
Okay.
I know I look young, but I'm not as young as I look. I've been doing hair for a long time. So if you use social media properly, you could really be more advanced than our generation. I hate to say it like that, but I mean,
So
let's keep it real. Favor ain't fair. You
okay,
know,
right.
it is what it
So
is. I have to accept it.
any
It
particular
works
tip?
for me.
Right.
Let's see.
Right.
Particular tips. Well, make
Yeah.
sure when you do post a picture, your background are typically clean, right? They are appeasing to the eye. Uh, you don't want a lot of clutter in your pictures
Okay.
because it can really water down the work because now your focus is not on the work. Your focus
Mm.
naturally goes to everything else behind. Now, I'm not saying it has to be white, but kind of try to find a theme and stick with that
Okay.
theme, if that
Okay.
makes sense. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I like a nice, clean page because to me it sparks professionalism. It says, oh, they're professional because people kind of get an idea of who you are, so they say, even before they even know you personally from social media. People come here and think they know me just from
Right.
social media. I get it, but I'm like, you don't know me, but okay. They get a sense. You should hear it. They get a sense of who you are, if you
Right.
will. So people really are paying. Just because you don't see somebody watching you, don't mean that they're not. You understand what
Right.
I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I know social media may just use it just to have fun, but they judge you off of stuff like that. You can lose a job, you can get a job. I got hired with Wella because of my social media. They didn't know me
Mm-hmm.
from a can of paint.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's definitely a good tip. Keep it nice and clean if you
Mm-hmm.
can, and keep it consistent. And show up. I'm not saying you got to post 9 times a day. Of course, it will help if you're new to the game. It definitely will help.
Okay.
Use hashtags. Those
Okay.
hashtags work. When people visiting, trying to come to town, they type in hairstylist in Atlanta.
Okay.
Make sure you hashtag that under your picture. Everybody's
Got.
not gonna be attracted to Derek's work. Everybody don't like messy hair, right?
Mm.
Everybody don't like shaggy looking hair. Some people like nice, clean, debutante. I'm in Atlanta, so a lot of these women down here like a nice, clean look, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to live in New York. That's where I was more grunge. So that's where all that
Okay.
grungy, messy stuff come from. But that's who I am, of course.
Yeah.
But I've kind of had to. You'll notice some of my styles are much more prettier, much more
Yeah. Okay.
debutante. I ain't really debutante like that. I want to mess this shit up. Oh, excuse my friend. I want to mess this stuff up. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
the environment that you in. But
Right.
but but also I get to bring my own flavor down here because they want those looks, but they don't have
Right.
anybody that can do it. So when they see my page, they're like, oh, I've been looking for somebody that can tousle the hair like that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that definitely plays in my favor too.
Yep.
So those would be my little tips for you guys.
Love it. Love it. So you've had quite an interesting career, quite an interesting journey. So what have you learned about Derek on the journey?
I learned that everybody's not my client, and that's okay.
Mm.
I'm not everybody's hairstylist, and that's okay. I don't want every client, and that's okay. There used to be a time I didn't turn down nothing but my collar. I was
Okay.
quick weaving, sewing in, didn't know what I was doing. But I had to learn everybody's not your client, bro.
Right. Right.
you like a certain type of client, right? And
Mm-hmm.
those women on my page, if you go through my page, they all are pretty much similar. They
Mm-hmm.
all usually have a head full of beautiful hair, right? They
Mm-hmm.
all kind of hold themselves, you can tell they kind of carry themselves a certain way. They have a
Mm-hmm.
certain lifestyle that they like to live. I'm the same way. But they
Uh-huh.
also are big down to earth. You know what I'm saying? Pretty girls. But I
Mm-hmm.
specifically post pictures like that on purpose. Because what I said earlier, whatever you post, it's gonna come in. So
Right.
typically when people sit in my chair, your hair needs to be a certain type of hair anyway. Not to say texture, but your hair has to be in a certain type of health for me to even say
Mm-hmm.
yes to what you want. Right?
Right.
Everybody don't get I turn a lot of people down for color.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
lot of people are not candidates for color. So when you come in, because one girl asked me, well, Derek, does everybody here have to look like that for you to color their hair? Oh, she said something like that. Like, it just seemed like everybody that come to you have this beautiful hair. And I said, well, the services that I provide, your hair needs to be pretty much healthy like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you probably will never see somebody's hair with color that's damaged on this page. Because I don't
Okay.
color damaged hair. So that's on
Right.
purpose. So that's what I've learned along the way. Everybody ain't for you and you ain't for everybody. And that's not a bad thing.
Right.
I've had to tell clients, I think you would be better suited for this stylist. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think me and you will work well together in that way.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad person. Don't mean
Right.
that their money's not green. It's not willing to be spent. It's just the vibe just may not be there. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Or
Right.
I don't really do what you're kind of wanting. I'm gonna refer you to somebody else. So I feel like if you can get to a place where that doesn't bother you, where you don't have to take everybody, that says a lot about you. It's no competition. I want everybody to win. She's
Mm-hmm.
not my type of client. But I think you and her would do well because you like doing ponytails. You like doing stuff like that. You would do well with her. And if I do it, I'm gonna charge you arm and a leg because I don't feel like doing it. You understand what I'm saying? So you won't have to
Right.
pay me.
Okay.
I hate to be so real.
Yeah, and I did a post not too long ago. It's like charging more is still not gonna make you like it. So
No. Mm-mm.
do what you do what you
It comes
love.
to a place where it's not even, girl, it's not even about the money. I don't want to do it.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And she's willing to pay out. Girl, I don't even want to do it.
Right.
No.
Stay in your lane. And so how do you find your creativity? What are things that inspire you to create the way that you do?
Hmm. Well, everything around me, I get inspiration from. Like when I wake up in the morning and I see the sun shine, it puts me in a certain mood.
Hmm.
Or even when it's raining, I don't even get mad at the rain anymore. I actually like to turn off everything now at the house and just listen to the rain.
Mm,
You understand what I'm saying? It's very relaxing to me now. When I was younger, I was like, I hate when it rains. No. Now I enjoy a rainy day and I just turn off everything. And like I said, working in the salon, even when like Jason comes in, because he's a designer and he designs his own clothes. Even when he comes in and how he puts his clothes together, I'm like, I like
uh-huh.
how you put that together.
Right.
It just puts me in a different mood. Or, I mean, Instagram, my inspiration comes from a lot of things.
Yeah.
Um, I draw inspiration from a lot of things and a lot of people.
Hmm.
I'm very eclectic.
Okay.
You understand what I'm
And
saying? Like, I'm very really kind of open minded.
uh-huh. Okay.
So,
And are there particular people who inspire you or kind of pull your wagon forward?
absolutely, absolutely. You have people like, and these are like pioneers in the industry. Chuck Amos,
Hmm.
I absolutely love his work.
Okay.
He is somebody that I am still trying to strive to not be like or emulate
Yeah.
because
Uh-huh.
he is where I want to be in my career. Right? I
Hmm.
think I'm headed that way.
Yeah.
Um, but he's black. He's gay. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
He's a man of a particular age. His work is like phenomenal,
Hmm.
and he's been doing this forever.
Right.
But I love his work. Who else? Kim Kimbo,
Hmm.
Tyre Wright.
Hmm.
Oh, it's a lot. Serge Norman.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, who else? Rita Hazan.
Okay. Hmm.
Um, I can name them. I can name a million people.
Okay.
I'm calling all these people. Nicole Mingram. She does
Uh-huh.
Oprah's hair.
Uh-huh.
She's also who I want to be.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my hands on Oprah, baby. That's when you know you made it.
All right now.
When you touch Mother O, that's how you know you made it. I don't even ever touch another head in life. But yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot of people that inspire me. But these
Hmm.
are kind of like I don't want to say old school because they still out here creating and turning it. So I don't
Right.
even want to say old school, but they have been in the game for a really long time, and that's
Hmm.
really who inspired me. Now
Okay.
these new age stylists inspire me too because they know how to get to the money fast. They know how
Okay.
to get to the money quick. You understand what I'm saying? But we still have to pull it back though. I know this because we're watering down our industry.
Yeah. 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 But that's inspiring to hear the people that inspire you.
Hmm.
And any tips for confidence with stylists to even have the conversations you have during your consultations? Like, is there a place where that confidence comes from? Is it just experience, or any tips you could give to anyone?
Well, definitely the experience because I was not always confident like that.
Okay.
Clients did used to run over me. You understand what I'm saying? Clients did used to intimidate me, especially when you come straight out of hair school. You have to
Right.
be careful because there are clients out here that will intimidate you because they know they can't. See what I'm
Right.
saying? And that was me. Because as hairstylists, we tend to want to please. We want you
Hmm.
to like our work. We want you to want to come to us. We want you to want to brag about us doing your hair. We are very sensitive. I'm an
Uh-huh.
artist and I am sensitive about my shit even today.
Right.
If my client don't really like their hair, that bothers me.
Hmm.
I haven't had that in a long time, but it still could bother me, even if it's small.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
the confidence definitely came from experience though. I've been doing
Okay.
hair almost 19 years now, so
Hmm.
I'm not new to it. You know what I'm saying? But in the beginning, you're probably going to be a bit
Uh-huh.
uh, At least I would. I'll say that for
Yeah,
me.
I was too. It's like my
Yeah,
first salon owner would give me clients he wasn't able to take, and I'd be sitting there with the roller in my hand shaking because
yeah.
they were like, "Well, he doesn't roll it like that, and he doesn't put it like
Right. Oh
that." And I'm
Lord.
like, "Oh God."
I remember them days. Oh God. But that, I mean, it really comes from experience and time. I really do believe that. Unless you
Mm,
just are just naturally just confident, I guess. But I wouldn't like that. Don't be
okay.
too hard on yourself. I'll say that. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't you know? Grow, learn,
Yeah, yeah,
experience.
yeah,
That's how you
absolutely.
know. No, me and you ain't gonna work. That's how you know
Okay,
that from experience and time.
okay,
It ain't gonna work. Nope. I'm gonna refer
okay.
you to someone soft. See what I'm saying? Even before we even touch. Nope. It ain't gonna work.
Yeah, stay in your lane. So, any, I don't know, what's the best advice you say you'd received?
The best advice I received. What's the best advice I received? Stay the court. Stay the course. Stay in
Mm,
your lane. You know what I'm saying? Stay in your lane. Do you. Don't worry about what nobody else is thinking. You're your only competition. That's really the best advice. And always stay passionate. Be
mhm,
passionate about what you do. That's the best advice. And it's simple, but it's big. It's big. It's small, but it's big.
right.
Now that I look back, those are small things, but they're big things.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying? Stay in your lane. There's no competition, man. You
right.
are you. People come to you because of how Dereq swag is, right? People don't just come to you because you do the hair. They come to you because they like you.
Right.
I buy stuff from Rihanna. I'm not even a girl, but I buy stuff from Rihanna because I like Rihanna. I want to
Okay.
support her.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
Yeah, it's
know,
big.
people don't just come to you because you do good hair. People come to you because you may get them out in a timely fashion.
Right.
Your conversation may be good, and maybe you may be relatable. You may
Mhm,
be professional. You may not even lay the hair out, but because you're professional, I'd rather
right.
spend my money with you. I'm the same way. I don't care how good you are. If my experience with you was not well, you will never see me again.
Right. Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And if I think like
Absolutely.
that, other people think like that.
Yes.
So
Hmm. Yeah. Well, this has been so fabulous. It's like I
I have
really
had an awesome time. And let me know if I'm too real, because I can be a bit brash, but I don't
no,
mean to be. It's coming from a good place. It really is.
yeah, but it's like that's what we want to see. That's who we want to see is who
That's
you
what
are.
Wella wanted me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can be nobody but me.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this because I think a lot of times, people see, you on stage or people see you on Instagram or that type of thing, but it's like, who is that
Hmm.
person and how did they get there? Because I think
Yeah,
that's
there's a
always
personality behind these pictures you see.
exactly, absolutely.
Hmm.
And I definitely love that you shared it with us. So yeah, I want to say thank you. This has been great. And it's like there were so many nuggets that I hope everybody was taking notes. It's like that
Yeah,
you grabbed out a pen and paper and that you get to Derek's next class. It's like
yeah.
if you
I
are
will be having classes though soon, guys. So stay tuned for that. Check out
oh
my
good.
page and stuff like that. So I will be teaching a one-on-one class, like in-person classes. So now that
Okay.
I got Wella, I got me a little sponsor. So I got some good products. We can just
Nice.
stay tuned. It's
Okay.
coming. It's coming through. Okay,
Yep. Yep. It's like get ready because it's definitely
get
coming.
ready.
Yep. So I want to thank you guys for being here with us. I hope that you've gotten a lot out of it. You can drop, some of the nuggets that you've gotten below. If you're on Instagram or not on Instagram, but on YouTube, it's like definitely, subscribe to the channel. So you can know when these are coming out. It's like each Tuesday. It's like we're here every week bringing you the best and brightest Black beauty bosses. And if you have missed any of the previous Black Beauty Superstars talk, to actually visit beautysuperstars.com and you can go to /podcast and be able to listen and see them all. It's like we are on Apple iTunes or your favorite podcast station. And if you'd like to partner with us to continue our mission, it's like you can visit beautysuperstars.com and just click on the big red button that's at the top. And if you are scared to raise your prices, not sure about those consultations or any of the things that we talked about here today, it's like I actually offer a free webinar that is called Level Up and Charge What You're Worth. And it's like we'll show you Definitely three biggest mistakes that stylists are making that are literally costing them thousands. And so I invite you to join us at beautysuperstars.com/level up. You can join us for the next class. And again, want to thank our sponsor, the Black Beauty Expo, coming up to hopefully a city near you, so you can come and join us. It's the Black Beauty Expo. Follow them on Black Beauty Expo on Instagram or blackbeautyexpo.com. And so we will look forward to seeing you next week. So take great care. Thank you so much, Dereq. We definitely
Thank you. It
appreciate
was certainly a pleasure. Thank you guys for tuning in.
taking time. Yeah, taking time out of your busy day. We appreciate it.
Oh, and be sure to follow me on Instagram at DEREQC, Dereq C.
Yes, and it is scrolling across the bottom. So yes,
Oh, yeah.
definitely follow them. I hope you already took a note of it and followed them already. So thanks so much, Dereq. Take good care and
Thank
have a
you.
great
Bye
rest of
bye.
your day.
You too.